I noticed that you were on Murder, She Wrote twice, but played two different characters.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
In the 80s, I made my living mostly as an actor. It's true. I moved out here in 83.
So you're just an actor on TV telling us your political views.
Hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Boys are less groupie-esque than women are. Men are a little
Women
bit
can
more
get sex
intimidated.
at any point, though. They don't need the groupie phenomenon.
And it's a little more vulnerable for men to hang around backstage than it is for women for some reason.
Stage door Johnny. That's what they used to call
But people
them.
are afraid of, a lot of
Stage door
stage door
Johnny.
Johnnies would be afraid of me, you know, I think, so they don't
And you were
wanna-
so young when you started, too.
You don't have guys hanging out?
Oh, of course she does.
But they're sneakier than women are. Women are just a little bit more overt about it.
In that world, yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
guys throwing their underwear on stage?
It doesn't work. It's not.
That's not how it
all
works.
The same.
I
It's not
years
a
ago
direct-
lived with a big
It's-
rock
No.
star, and
It's
that
so
it was
subtle.
just
It's
so
subtle.
horrible being his girlfriend and the underwear, like all this underwear would go on the stage, the girls taking it. It was just like, it was really hard.
Well, I always thought being a musician was a much more direct route to the female.
It's the backstage pass being thrown out into the
Well, that's what I don't
audience.
understand.
Comedians had to go all the way around South America. The musician just went right through the Isthmus of Panama.
Because it's why? Because the show is so sexual and the
Yeah, it's
music
much,
is so
you know, I think
intimate.
it's not just sexual, but I think what women are always
Music,
looking
you
for
mean,
in men
or- yeah.
is communication. And singers are communicating, and usually to women. Usually it's bullshit, but at least they are communicating.
it's
At least they're
usually-
going,
it's
I
usually-
love you, and
Right.
you know, at least it's
vulnerable,
feelings
feeling,
and
yeah.
communicate.
Yeah.
It's all the
Yeah.
things women want.
You've had the date
So-
already by the time you meet up with them later.
There you go.
You've done all the foreplay, right?
Even if the song is complete fiction.
Yes, right. Most, you know.
Do you write from your personal experience? It's your experience, or
Yeah, it writes itself.
Yeah.
It's like diary entries.
If she
just
does it,
all-
I've
you write what
really
you
been
know.
ripped off.
you write what you
Just from 9/11 and with the whole thing with politically
Yeah.
correct to now with this and how much everything has changed. From just saying something that could be interpreted as something that was
Yeah,
obliquely anti-patriotic.
right.
Because it was the quote was you were questioning
The terrorists
what,
weren't cowards.
because it's a scary thing to do what they did. You could say what you want about them, but it was a scary thing.
Well-
And that was enough to have you were the first lightning
Yes.
rod.
My head writer said, because this was 6 days after 9/11. He said, like, have you ever seen Saving Private Ryan, one of my favorite movies? When the first scene, the landing thing comes, and those guys, the landing thing, the door goes down, and the second it goes down, a bullet hits the first guy like right between the. He didn't even the thing. He didn't even get in the water. He didn't get to the beach. the thing went down, and he said that was you.
And you of all people, because you were somebody who I remember at the time it hit you personally because somebody was coming to the show was on one of the planes, right?
Barbara Olson, yeah.
I remember you were
Yeah.
moved. I mean, you were disturbed.
Yeah, we left
by the
that
whole
chair,
thing.
open for a week. It was terribly disturbing.
So it had hit you. For people out here, it's much different people
I mean,
than
it
you
hit everybody.
It hit everybody, but
And
it was a direct
Yes.
connection. It affected you in a way that it affected. I mean,
Right,
I found
you
it was
do-
different from here
it
in
does-
New York. Was a little bit different.
It is
the way it
an
affected
eerie
people.
feeling when you know that someone was on their way to see you, that they were on that plane. I mean, that's why they were on that plane. It's silly to feel responsible, but
But there's a
it's a
correlation.
creepier-
There's a connection.
there is. It puts you, as you're saying, right, directly in.
And now here you were, one of the first people starting to discuss it openly, which nobody was doing. Howard Stern was doing it to his credit, and I think.
Well, excuse me. I had to go on the Howard Stern show as I went on a number of shows. And this is why I still don't like Howard Stern, because I used to do his show and we did get along for a while. But for an hour, they tortured me with this, trying to get me to say, whatever they wanted to give me. And I said to the country I was sorry for hurting their feelings. I never said what I said was wrong, because it wasn't wrong.
Right.
The terrorists aren't cowards. Anyone who sticks with a suicide mission is not a coward. But I get it that we weren't ready to have that sort of a discussion.
Sure. Right.
But Howard Stern, during that show, said he thought we should bomb with a nuclear bomb a Muslim country, any Muslim country. He said it didn't matter which one, just pick any Muslim country. Apparently that's not controversial, but me saying the terrorist
Right,
is
yeah.
like, that's so much of a worse thing to say. Let's nuclear bomb, let's throw a dart at a
Yeah.
map and drop a
But you-
nuclear bomb.
This show is
Well-
what happened though. Your show is this show is
Yeah,
so
you know
much
what?
more powerful.
Some
Yeah.
blessings in disguise. I mean, I was so ready
really
to.
is.
I was so ready to stop doing
Yeah.
that show after 9 years.
Because you know what happened on
And
that
it's so
show
meant to
too?
be.
Is you did so many of them. Once you switched from Comedy Central to, what was it, on ABC?
Yeah.
You were filling seats at a certain point. It wasn't. It started off as much more hand-picked, like this show is now.
Yeah.
It feels like you really want the guests on. You have great guests.
That's true.
And you get to the point, and you're not trying to hit a broad late-night audience
You're right.
on network. And so
You're right.
But that's what makes it hard to do your show too. For somebody like me, dinner table talk. On the air, you sound like an asshole, I think, making all these statements about what you believe in this. And the only reason you're saying it is because you're famous. And if you're not backing it up, it's hard not to feel stupid talking that way.
But the thing is, you're a celebrity and you get invited on,
Right.
your show, and you're invited on your show because you're a celebrity. Not, I mean, that's why you're asked your opinion. And you probably shouldn't be asked your opinion about anything except
Right.
did you have fun making your latest movie, or what's it about,
Any
or who
practical
do you think
jokes on
would
the
like
set?
it? Simple things about the work you did is really all you should be asked.
But there are
But there was a
celebrities.
time when artists
But
really
what are you gonna
made
do?
a difference.
Thank you.
There was a
And also-
time when it was okay
and
for
many-
an artist to,
Yeah, but hold on a
to
second.
have
And
their
many-
moment.
and many
I
artists-
think if you're an artist like Alanis,
Yeah.
who makes comments in your work
Yes.
about people's
Social
society,
Or puts
or
the
about-
time in to go and actually partake
Right.
in these
Then
things.
then you're a person who thinks about it, and you're
You're an
talking about your
activist, then.
art when you talk about your political position. What do you think about that? I mean,
What?
you have celebrities on, and you ask them their opinion, and they're
Not
going to
much
get
anymore.
Yeah. Now,
mean, that's-
now with your show, but your old show, that's
My old
all
show,
it was. I
and
mean,
that's one
really what it
reason
was.
why I think the gimmick
You were glad to
wore off. Yes, I was.
be done.
Well, because it became a stretch. The press overwhelmingly sort of talked about the crazy pairings. Marilyn Manson was on with G. Gordon Liddy. Our heads are exploding. Okay, that was a good hook. But, after a while, it was like, yeah, and neither one of them really had much to say. That's the
Right.
thing. They were on together, and in theory, sometimes it worked out. So it became too much of a stretch to pretend that people, because it is a shallow society, and among the shallow, the celebrities often lead the way. You were a
yeah, go
Playboy?
ahead, tell us about it. Did you do a shoot for
I,
Playboy?
I never
Not
shot
intentionally.
I shot some photographs for Traveler magazine.
Right.
It was in a bathing suit
Yeah.
in Florida. With
then
Bert
take off the
Stern.
top.
They put it in the
Right.
computer.
Bert Stern, a
and-
great photographer who shot Marilyn Monroe on the beach with a sweater, little thing. And
first centerfold.
and we smoked a joint. And
It's a beautiful thing.
and
thing
the,
your
and the
top
bathing
came
suit,
off?
no, the bathing suit kept coming off in the water, and like I said, and I just ripped it off and was very comfortable in being naked,
Right.
and him and I, artists, cool,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and giving to
Right.
me, and we're cool. And then
Photo shoot
And what
of where?
month, what year was this?
cover of Playboy magazine,
The cover.
Wow.
the cover with a spread inside, and which aren't even.
You're
that
like, I didn't even
sexy.
go
They're
to the
kind of
Big
actually,
Ten.
if anything, they're like not even great photographs. They're ugly photographs. So it was like me stenciled. They stenciled the Playboy Bunny on my T-shirt, which I was like, well, I didn't.
That's
That's
kinda
not
wrong.
stenciled, and I didn't do.
Yeah, kinda.
So we sued them.
And and what happened? Was it
It's
a
a
horrible
joke I stole.
experience?
About 20
Yes,
years.
because at the time, I was living with somebody who's, and it just.
Who's not into you being on the cover of Playboy at the time?
We took his children to Disney World,
Eric
and suddenly I'm
Roberts, okay, he's a little cuckoo.
like Peter Gabriel, and so and I was,
Same
and then
thing.
on there on the, I was literally, I had no idea. They didn't even tell. It was like it was in the stands. It was.
Take care of
Did you win that suit?
And did the relationship break up because of that?
The relationship broke up right after that, not because of that. I'd love to blame it. No, it didn't break up with that. No, it broke up because we
Relationship
broke up.
solid.
But
The band broke
Right,
up.
right.
Do people relate as much to your point of view? Because when you started off, you were a young girl who
Right.
got knocked around a little bit,
Right.
weren't unlucky at love, and then all of a sudden you're this huge superstar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't stay in, the superstar environment so much that I'm cut off from reality. I make it a point to be out, with a real life, whatever that means. No, but the thing about sharing personal music to me, or personal anything, is you're just putting yourself out there, and people can define themselves in accordance to you, and that's what you're doing too. You know, it's
Am
not.
I?
It's
I
not
did. I
precious.
did at one
it's
time.
just you're putting it out there, and
It's different though, because nobody wants to relate to my problems.
how do you know that?
I know. You do, and people here do.
That's great. Thanks.
How do you know that your business manager's not stealing
I
from
woke
you?
up this morning today and I said, "What's bugging John?"
But that's what I'm saying, though. I can't make up. I can't put something. I can't write a script about a guy who's worried about how to invest the money that he makes in the movie business.
Right.
And worried if.
Well, that's.
I had a business manager rip me off terribly,
No,
and,
but I'm saying-
and didn't pay my taxes.
But
for
most
3 years.
people in the world can't
Right.
relate to that.
But they may,
You,
they may
me,
relate
Willie
to a version
Nelson,
of it.
Right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be into that, and then
But a version of it.
Otherwise people just hate you for what you think are your problems
Right.
because
Yeah.
they're so not
Right.
problems compared to what most people's problems are.
That's why it's good when big stars get married, because everyone can relate to that. You know, Johnny Carson, when he was the biggest star, was always going through a nasty divorce that
Right.
was giving him pain. And then people say, "Oh, you know what? He may have more money than me and more adulation and, you know, all fame. But you know what? At the end of the day, he can't make the thing work just the way I can't make it work."
I noticed that you were on Murder, She Wrote twice, but played two different characters.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
What was the Piranha
What was
Woman?
that like?
How did they get
thing?
away with
Planet
that?
Piranha movie.
Love that experience.
I didn't even know you'd been in movies, but one day we were shooting
Yeah.
a Mr. Show scene over at this theater, you know, at the end of Sunset. And I was upstairs, and we were shooting scenes all around it. And there was a poster for Pizza Man.
Pizza Man.
And I was like, Bill Maher and Pizza Man?
Yeah, that's
What?
got some funny stuff in it.
But then you've been in quite a few movies. You've been in like 15 movies.
Bill, I didn't know you were
In the 80s, I made my living mostly as an actor. It's true. I moved out here in 83. I got into
So
DC.
you're just an actor on TV telling us your political
See,
views.
Hey, guess what? Guess
Thank
what?
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you,
Thank you, beer salesman.
Hey, no. And-
Your
hope you
Clydesdale
buy
is
beer.
double
Oh,
parked.
God.
I would want to know from you about transitioning from your film acting career to what you do now. I don't,
Well, you know, it really wasn't a transition. My acting career just petered to nothing.
right.
That was true, but also just priceless the way you said my acting career petered.
Wait,
Right.
was it after Piranha Women on the Moon?
You were great in Body Double.
The women
I
on
saw the Pizza Man poster. Carry on.
Oh my God.
How did that go? That point where the acting career, you know, just hit a
awful.
brutal
the
dead
two
end.
really hardest parts of my career was when you start, when you have nothing, you're right out of college, you don't know what you're doing, you have no money.
But you have your ignorance to get you through that.
It's tough.
And your ambition.
It's
Ambition
You're,
and
you're
ignorance.
it's self-motivated.
Same thing.
No one's giving you reinforcement
Right.
of any kind.
Right.
A couple of your comic buddies. Okay, I'd done acting in sitcoms. Nothing panned out. I wasn't going to be an acting thing. And then I had to like, oh shit. But there was like a couple of years where I wasn't doing anything.
It's that
I wrote a
abyss,
book.
yeah.
You know, I wrote a novel.
that's right.
I mean, which is a testament to how much time I had on my hands.
Did you leave home when you were young?
Yeah, I left home
act?
when I was 14.
14. Right, I got that right.
You think, God, that's really young. You look at 14 years ago, oh my God, they're babies. I hitchhiked across the United States when I was 14.
I thought you grew up here.
No, I didn't live with everybody.
Why'd you leave home so early?
I left home young because I had these really amazing, artistic, crazy parents who were brilliant, but
Right.
weren't involved at the time when I was growing up with the other kids, like Patricia, Alexis, and David, and Richmond. So I was the one that was like, they were working their stuff through, hitchhiked across the United States, left home, came back, started my own life, got into a career at 18 years old, and then they evolved. And then they got into their stuff, and we had a big healing, amazing connection.
That's great.
After
And then
you
they
had-
died, both of them in my arms, with my family. It was great.
So you didn't grow up in L.A.
No, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and anytime I can get out of LA, I do. I'm
Grew
here.
up in a trunk, Bob. Show business.
Can I say something to you? And this
know.
isn't, I'm not messing around. You were in about the best
Not a
half,
kid.
the best half hour of film
Daughter's age.
that I could think of, which is the Scorsese segment of New York Stories.
Oh.
Amazing to me. And I've cornered Nick Nolte. I saw
Right.
Nick Nolte once. I cornered him and just hammered him. But I won't do it now. But I think
don't
every little
hammer
bit,
her.
every little bit of that
No, not
thing.
about acting stuff, because I'm just so
Let's
over
get
the whole.
McNulty to do it.
You're overacting?
No, I'm not overacting. You know what? It was really great to be an actress in your 20s, but you're not allowed to age in Hollywood. And I made this documentary about it. And
Searching for Deborah Winger.
Yeah, and it was
Right, that's a great title.
an experience to be able to talk to all these amazing women that work. And but you know, aging, and you get to a certain age, and everybody wants young women. And you know, you're a director, and you hire young women. I just hit
Yeah.
45. And 45 is my age, and I know a lot, and I feel better than I ever have, but you're not allowed. They put you out to pasture. It's like, fuck you, I'm ready to rock right now. Are you kidding me?
Do you honestly think that any of the three of us
And,
men would have a snowball's chance in hell of taking a part away from somebody who's like a real on-the-list, young, sexy actor that is on the cover of magazines? Do you think that there's even that we have any greater chance than you do?
Hey man, it
of
was a
getting
nice
part
dinner. Why do you have to bring us down? This guy is always Mr. Bring Down, Mr. I'm telling you.
Also, I may
you
not-
need a
I may
night
not
out
look
with
that
me.
great
I
right
promise
now,
I'll fix this problem if I have to drill a hole in your head. Listen to this.
There's a deep-seated, fiery anger inside Rosanna. She's incredibly angry at the industry.
Who?
You are.
No, you know what? Can I tell you
No, but
something?
seriously,
Wait. I need
you're
to real.
right, you're
no,
right.
wait. I'm in a great place. I don't have any bitterness, which I can't live in that. But was I ever? And was I bitter? And did I go there? And did I experience that? And did I absolutely act out in it? I so did it 3.5 years ago. But I'm not doing that now.
You know, Bob has a new. What's the animated show you're doing?
I do have a show that I'm executive producing that's in its way like my Mr. Show good time right
Nothing
now.
was better than that.
It's called
love
Tom Goes to the Mayor, and it's going to be on Adult Swim on the Cartoon Network on the Adult Swim block, and it's amazing. These guys sent me a DVD, Tim Heidecker, Eric Wareheim, and they just some guys making little movies in their apartment back in Philadelphia. And
Animated movies?
Yeah, some are animated, some are live action, and a lot of them are like a mix, and just doing it on their computer, their little, Dell computer or whatever. And they sent me this DVD just blind. Sometimes people will send you stuff, and usually I throw it out, but
Slow week.
occasionally I pop it in. These guys sent me their stuff, and they make so much humor out of nice work on that proposal. Excuse me? The proposal? Did you get that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't send you one. Oh,
Yeah.
but thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you anyways.
yeah.
I mean, just
Right,
little
Yeah. Subtle.
jabbering nonsense, that happens all the time. And
so you got these guys.
so we
because you're
developed a
Bob
show
Odenkirk?
around this guy, Tom, who goes to the mayor, which was an animated piece that they sent me originally, and we just developed it. And so that's coming on in a few weeks. It's got a whole season
I can't wait to
pickup.
see
It's
it.
so funny,
Oh, wow.
John. And the most amazing thing about these guys was they had their own voice. And when they came out to L.A. a few months later, because I called them up, I said, this stuff's really good, and you guys have a real voice here that you've developed. And I said, what comedy scene are you in? Like, who do you know in comedy? And they said, we don't know anyone, which is really interesting, because most people, you go to Chicago, you go to New York, and then that automatically starts to influence you, not necessarily in a good way, which these guys just developed their own voice on their own without interacting with anyone or being intimidated by anyone.
That's great.
Directly.
Now that you seem happier, you're getting married, you're not going to have as much to complain about.
You've been married. You think there's not a lot to complain about when you're starting
Not
to
that
get
anybody
married?
wants to buy a record about.
Well, you just write about what your
But you know what?
experience is.
You don't put down the seat.
But no, wait a second. It's like what you were saying, though. There comes a point where the things that you care about, if you get older,
Yes.
are not what they think the movie-going public cares
That's
about.
right. Everybody.
It's not that no one cares about it. It's that the people who buy the tickets are 13 to
Yeah.
21.
Right.
And so if that's not an issue that they most care about, or a person they most want to see,
This is the
that's
most
why
on-camera
they start
thing.
to.
So then what do? You just cater more? What do you do?
About what? About
Hater.
Well, you were just
About
talking-
13-year-olds?
I just don't think that's an option, really.
well, when you're 20, it's not a problem.
I know,
like
but,
when you started.
But let's just say you
But now
think
you're-
that nobody wants to hear what you're saying because they're not, they're not your age or they're not married or whatever. It's as
You
if there's
either
not a
make-
million people out there who aren't married.
You either make things that are smaller, that don't require that much money
Right.
or marketing behind it, and don't demand
You
the
go
kind
for
of.
a smaller
And can
audience.
that be okay?
Yes,
You
sure.
make
Great.
work for a smaller
That's
But
audience.
if you
all I
want to
wanted
have
to
a broad canvas with a lot of people doing it, that's why to me my
But that's like
connection in
that's like
having
pushing
kids.
a ball uphill or not necessarily even being
Yeah, but
authentic
that's
in
not-
what you're writing.
That was a good
That's the
thing.
Your
point. Is that
career died.
everybody here has found their way, and then when things change, have found their way or are in the process now of finding another way to get to a feeling that they like.
It's true.
Bob was just talking to me about it.
I
He's
mean,
doing.
I've really just been transitioning for like the last 3 years into movies. I knew I wanted to take a stab at features, and I knew it would take a long time, and I'd saved up some money, and I got a commercial along the way. But I'm just writing movies every day, and
Financing it,
they're
getting
pretty
it
much
together.
all on spec, which is what I want to do because I've done the other route before, and they never go anywhere. But it's a long-term thing.
It is,
you know?
but my point is
And-
that you came in one way, one door,
Right,
and
right.
I've seen you for.
And I could keep doing it. I could keep doing sketches. In fact, I did a sketch show for Fox like 2 years ago, and they didn't buy it. But when they didn't buy that, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to let that sit
Right.
for a few years. I'm going to give it a shot at features. And it might take, I'm going to give it like 5 years. And if I'm going nowhere, I will make an adjustment.
Can I ask Alanis a question because she's
I wanna
it's
ask
an
you a
independent.
question.
I want to ask you.
Yeah, I
If
wanna-
you're
I
quiet,
wanna hear
politely
from
being all
Alanis.
Canadian
I'm
over there.
a listener.
No, you. I want to know about because this is about ostensibly about independent film, and you did one. You had one experience, and you haven't acted that much and stuff. How did you end up being in Dogma with Kevin?
Kevin and I had a mutual admiration society going, and we met right after I stopped touring for Jagged Little Pill. And he said, check this script out for
Do you
this
want to play
movie.
God?
He didn't ask me to play God.
You
and
said pick a role.
He did.
I think I'd be right for God.
And I checked it out. It was the most amazing script. I loved it. And then right near the end, there's that cameo God moment, and he said, do you want to do it? And I was in the middle of writing a record, and it was only going to take a week. So I said yes.
And you were God at that time.
Yeah.
Sold more records than any woman in
So more
many,
records
many,
than
many
God.
years.
I was at I think one of the first shows you ever did in town, and I never go to see music at Luna Park.
Wow, that was
right
the
when you were
first
getting,
show ever.
And so rarely do you see somebody say like, hey, there's a show, this band's going to be big, and you go there and usually you never hear from them, but then you really were. You blew up all over the place. And
Wow, you were there.
I was there, and I was like, take that harmonica away from that girl.
Glad that didn't happen.
I'm not fond of babies. I have no animosity to babies, but why does everyone have to make it that I love them?
You don't have to love babies.
Thank you, I don't. I've never touched a baby, and I have no plans to ever touch one.
Your Honor.
And it was a little portentous, wasn't it? It's like a
Submit dinner for
pledge from the
5.
anti-politician. And I pledge America that if you elect me, I will stay the course and never touch a baby.